Panama City, Panama City. Welcome to Panama, bella ciudad. Ay, mi Panama. Bienvenidos a Panama. 15 August 1519, the beginning of a dream. It is important to know this date because it's the day that we celebrate. Pedro Arias Davila received from the King of España official doctrine for the fealty to be named Panama City, Panama City, Panama City. Welcome to Panama, bella ciudad, bella mi Panama. Bienvenidos a Panama. A fishing village it was formerly, right upon the coast of the sea. Cathedral tower built up toward the sky. You can hear that bell toll far and wide. At this time within the nation, there was a very small population. Only 100 people or so. First European settlement on Pacific coast. Panama City, Panama City. Welcome to Panama, bella ciudad, ay mi Panama. Bienvenidos a Panama. The Camino Real, it paved the way. And in this isthmus it had to stay. All the way to Nombre de Dios. If you go now, you can hear them go. Whoa! Riches came up out of Peru. Many ship and the pirates knew. All the pearls, silver and gold. Panama City was Pacific stronghold. Then they crossed Panama by mule. Tropical diseases was very cruel. Finally arrived to Atlantic coast. Departing for Spain from Nombre de Dios. Panama City, Panama City. Welcome to Panama, bella ciudad, ay mi Panama. Bienvenidos a Panama. 15 August 1519, the beginning of a dream. It is important you know this date because it's the day that we celebrate. 15 August 1519, the beginning of a dream. It is important to know this date because it's the day that we celebrate. Panama City, Panama City. Welcome to Panama, bella ciudad, bella mi Panama. Bienvenidos a Panama, Panama City, Panama City. Oh, welcome to Panama, bella ciudad, ay mi Panama.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. This is Rapping with Rapscallions. I'm here, as usual, with the most maximus of rapping rappers from Panama, Jose Mezquita, a.k.a. Joe, a.k.a. the finest rapper in all of Panama.
Oh, wow. Thanks, man. Likewise yourself, also one of the finest rappers in all of Panama. I said it. I said it, so it must be true.
Got to be true. So salute to you. We're going to have a great show today. What are you sipping on? What are you imbibing on today, Joe?
I am imbibing on some Seco and orange juice because, as always, vitamin C is the way to go. What about you, my friend?
I am, we're talking about Panama cuisine today. So I'm going to have a little Seco con limón y raspadura. So it's just Seco lemon.
That sounds delicious. Cheers, man. Cheers to everybody joining us.
Cheers. Thanks for joining us, everyone. So I kind of just fumbled over the title of today's show, but let's take a step back.
Take a step back. Take a step back.
Episode 27, Joe. 27 shows. We're in a new year. We had a little bit of the Femscallions takeover last week. Very positive reaction to that. But today's show is about chow time.
Food, baby.
Food, baby. Besides rapping and creating awesome content and acting and being funny and stuff, Rapscallions got to eat. And
no doubt.
We eat very well.
We do eat very well, thankfully. Let me tell you something. Preparing for this show, I've never felt this hungry in my life as I felt prepping for this show. Just doing all that research into the nitty-gritty of all the deliciousness that exists within this wonderful country of ours.
I'm just getting hungry thinking about it. I love it.
Oh, man. It was amazing. It was amazing. Sending some shout-outs really quickly. HB, Andres is tuning in. What's up? Undressed to impress. Stay blessed. Chechi is also on board. He's tuning in.
Right.
Ingrid also checking us out via Instagrams. And I
got
think
some
that's
shout outs too.
What's up? What's up?
Mi hermano Ricardo Rodriguez is tuned in. He's put a like on our Facebook, so I hope he's listening in. It's one of my buddies. So all today we're talking about food. We're talking about Panamanian food. We're gonna talk a little bit about origins. And if you have a favorite, please write in. We'll talk a little bit about that too. But first, as usual, the Rapscallions weekly wrap up.
Rapscallions weekly wrap up. I love it. I love it. Let's start with you today, my friend. How has your week been? Tell me about it. Walk us through your week. What have you done, brother?
Well, we had like I mentioned earlier, we had the lady scallions, the femme scallions, the better half scallions. They took over the show. We want to do something fresh and cool for our audience. So you know what? The ladies took over. They're talking about lots of cool stuff. They're talking about their favorite books, New Year's resolutions, meditation, all kinds of neat stuff. And we got a lot of positive responses from that. If you guys want to hear more, just let us know. My week's been pretty good. Like you said, the preparation for this show was
delicious.
It was delicious. I have a lot of stuff to show you guys from my garden. So I spent a lot of time in my garden this week. I have the chickens. The chickens are producing 4 eggs a day. I'm making delicious omelets. I made a special treat that we're going to talk about later.
Ooh.
Yes. And so my week's been pretty good. We had an aphid attack on our coffee plants. So I was out there.
Not the aphids, man. Not the aphids.
Man, aphids suck.
They do.
You know, it's interesting. Ants, they put the aphids on the leaves, and the aphids the nectar out of the leaves, and then they sweat this sugar, and the ants use that and they eat it. It's amazing, but it's also a pain in the ass.
Whoa, that's aphids and ants working together. Circle of life.
Circle of life. And I was like, man, that's you got to get off of that. So
Truth.
I have my little spray. It's soap, Ahi Chumbo, and garlic. So I spray that on there, and then I wipe the little aphid things off, and that's supposed to work. And plus, when you give your plants love, they give you food back.
They give you food back, man. And I think we're going to see later on, because we got some mutant vegetables and fruits growing over there in Santa Clara, man. It's like you got gamma radiation on your land that makes them grow on like giant sized.
Marvel should erase the Hulk and come back with sheep poop Hulk. That's
with ew berries.
Ew berries. You put that on the plants, and it's just badoom. Everything just came back and has all its vital nutrients and whatnot. So we're very happy about that. So tell me about your week. Tell me about your week, Joe.
Thanks, man. My week has been all right, man. It's been, to be honest, at work, I felt like I went back to April 2020. I was a bit stressed throughout the week, to be honest. It was heavy. But looking at the blessings, got to turn those L's to lessons. I managed to keep my workout routine going this week. So I did some working outs, which was good. I'm trying to do certain exercises certain days. And then when I don't work out, I'm trying to do burpees and like force myself to love burpees, which is hard because don't nobody love burpees.
Nobody love burpees.
Nobody love burpees. So I'm trying to love burpees for 2021. That's my motto.
Love thine burpees.
Love thine burpees. And then I've been working hard. On. Okay, I think we're good. Saw a message come through. We're good. On our next Rapscallions hit single. It's coming soon. It's coming soon, man. The lyrics have been written. I'm just letting it marinate in my mind. And then it's going to drop on you guys like a bomb of deliciousness. But doom. But yeah, man. Other than that, it's been good. I agree. The femme scallions, the she scallions, the women scallions, that episode went over really, really well. I especially enjoyed something they said. They were like, resolutions are not about stopping. Like, because a lot of people say, I'm going to stop doing this. I'm going to stop doing that. Remember? And you and I were like, but we can't stop loving what we love, like pizza and rum. So it's just about doing things differently in a way that is more beneficial to your well-being.
That's true. Like adding positive behaviors, adding to your lifestyle and trying to be more healthy instead of trying to restrict yourself.
That's right. Because all these people, when they're like, I'm going to go on a diet, I'm going to stop eating donuts. But it's like, but if you love donuts, you can still eat them. Just don't eat 50 donuts a day. That's not beneficial for anyone, man. Plus, you're gonna get diabetes and die, and don't nobody want that.
You're gonna die of beaties.
That's right. Nobody wants diabetes. You want to die of aphids.
You want a symbiotic relationship with your life.
That's right. That is what you want, man. That is what you want. So yeah, man. Hey, it's all good. I took my Christmas decorations down. Have you done that already?
No.
Oh, because for you, you're gonna honor Christmas year round. You're like Scrooge.
Instead of taking something down, I added something positive. A screen.
Excellent. I love it.
Yeah. So, anything else in the weekly wrap up, or should we dive into the deliciousness?
Dude, let's dive in like if we were diving into a dish of delicious rice pudding, man. Oh.
Okay, and our artwork today by Carina Weber, very nice. A bowl of Sancocho and the little chef's hats on. I love it.
That's right, man. That's right. And those chef hats contain lots of knowledge that we're going to impart. Nevertheless, there's always a caveat that we have to give people before we start talking about things. And even though it's hard, we must tell you that we don't know everything.
That's right. We're not experts. We're just
not experts.
Rapscallions. We want to share with you. We want to share stories with you guys. And we want you guys to share stories with us. Quid pro quo, Agent Starling.
That's right. That's right. Quid pro quo. So don't take our words for any of these things, because we could be saying a lot of fun stuff. And you'd be like, it's not that way. I'm super upset with you. Don't get upset. Just write a comment, man, and be like, hey, I think it's this way. And we'll be like, yo, that makes sense.
That's true.
All right, let's rock and roll, my friend. Take us away.
Well, the cuisine of Panama. If you guys haven't figured out by now, Joe and I, the Rapscallions, we love Panama. We make songs about it. We make raps about it. We make skits about it. And now we love the cuisine. So one of the most beautiful things about the cuisine in Panama, because it's really hard to nail down exactly what it is. Yeah, I'll tell you what it is. It's a melting pot of cultures.
Truth.
There's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it's all mixed together in this beautiful melting pot of Panama. And anyone who tells you Panama doesn't have a good food doesn't know what they're talking about. Lots of good food from Panama. Lots of very talented chefs. And so where should we start, man? There's so much to talk about.
Yeah, I think one of the first things that I want to say, man, and just to piggyback on what you said about the great chefs, I think we've had a revolution, man, over the past couple of years, like a culinary revolution. And we have such amazing chefs coming through that they're making amazing dishes of local Panamanian foods, which is pretty great. So we had Robert Martin on our show last year from Intimo Restaurant, man, one of the best restaurants in Panama, and they're great at doing these types of things, man. And I think one of the things I want to say is that even though Panama is so small, because we're relatively small, we have quite a lot of food. I think if you see all the provincias that are like on the coast, like if you go to the Pacific coast or if you go to Bocas del Toro, you'll see that these guys, Colón, man, the food there, very inspired by the Caribbean. Very inspired by the Caribbean. And then you go to the other provincias in the interior, and I'm talking like, say, Herrera, Cocle, all these places, they have a lot of beef and corn and stuff over where you are.
Exactly. Fried beef.
Fried beef. And it's interesting because, even though we're so small and you could literally drive from one coast to the other in a day, bathe in both oceans, you have such a smorgasbord, a cornucopia of foods that you can try.
Absolutely. Gastro Tour Landia.
That's right, man. That's right.
We're surrounded by oceans, so we have the fruits of the oceans, the frutos de mar. Everything grows here. We've got so many fruits and veggies, coffee, all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What a wonderful place to live.
Hey, man, the chicken of the sea. Which is the chicken of the sea?
Tuna.
Tuna is the chicken of the sea.
According to certain tuna companies, it is.
All right, okay.
Do you know what officially? Gallina de rama is?
A what?
Gallina de rama.
I don't know what that is. A monkey?
Guana. Gallina de rama means branch chicken, like tree chicken.
Oh, I didn't know that, man.
Yeah.
Have you had iguana? Do we have enough iguanas to say that, iguana could be a Panamanian delicacy? Does anybody cultivate iguanas? Not cultivate. That's not the word I'm looking for.
I've been to an iguana farm. I think it was out in Sona where they just grow them. And out on the islands, like the Contadora and the Perlas Islands, they're actually overflowing. So out there, you can eat them all you want. That's actually where I ate it.
Oh, yeah?
I was working on the Survivor that was filming down here,
Mm-hmm.
running the Machete cruise. And they invited me back for a dinner and said they caught an iguana and they invited me to go eat it. They smoked it over like leña, and they like smoked over a fire, pulled the skin off, and then they stewed it in coconut milk and tomatoes.
Whoa.
And I'll tell you what, it was good, man.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
What did it taste like?
Chicken. No.
But like, was it chewy or was it when you were eating it? Were you like, iguana? Or were you like, man, it's good?
I don't know if you've ever had gator tail or something like that. Have you ever had gator? No.
No.
Gator's
I heard it's
tough,
chewy though. Yeah.
Chewy, but it's kind of chickeny-ish, but firmer texture. It's more like frog legs,
Right?
I guess. Frog legs are delicious.
I haven't had that either, man. My knowledge of reptile eats are very limited. Oh, well, I guess I'll have to change that. That means that when this pandemic is over, Rapscallions, Pearl Islands, it's happening. We're going to eat all the iguanas, man. All the iguanas. Those iguanas don't stand a chance. They don't stand a chance, dog. Don't stand a chance.
So that's, those are some of the more exotic things, I think, in Panama. But I think if you ask anyone, the first thing that comes to mind as far as a Panamanian dish,
right?
I don't know. I don't know if we should have started least favorite to favorite, but let's start with the number one, man. Let's start
with the number one.
Sancocho.
Sancocho, without a doubt. I think if you go abroad and someone says, "Hey, HP, what do people eat in Panama?" Well, I know you wouldn't do it because you're a man of the world, But if you ask a random person that's not you or me, what do people eat in Panama? They're gonna say Sancocho.
Sancocho. That's gonna be number one.
And that's the truth, man, because it's delicious. It's delicious.
Delicious. So, for those out there who don't know what a sancocho is, it's a chicken soup with a Panama twist. Now, we were discussing this before the show. Every time I post on a bowl of sancocho on Instagram, I get a comment. Like, a real sancocho is chicken, ñame, and condimentos. That's it.
Full stop.
That's it. But for me, a sancocho is chicken soup with this in it. I think this is what makes the difference.
Yeah. Tell us.
This is a hoja de culantro, a culantro leaf. Grows natively. I mean, it's very pungent. It has the same flavor as cilantro, but they're different they're in the same order, but different families or something like that.
Are they like cousins or something?
They're cousins. And it's very pungent. Some people can't stand it. Some people, my father-in-law, he just can't eat it. Like, it's in their DNA. People can't eat cilantro and stuff. So this is the culantro leaf. This, to me, is what makes the Panamanian chicken soup different from maybe a chicken soup in Puerto Rico,
El culantro. Because you can't find culantro in Puerto Rico, can you? Or can you?
Well, you can now. I mean, it is native to the Americas. And some people call it spiny coriander, jagged. I don't know. There's a whole list of things that we were looking at earlier. But you can make a nice salsa. I blitzed up some tomatoes with culantro. I didn't even have to add salt or anything. Boom. I just put these two together and made an excellent salsa.
Oh, word? And that's straight up from your backyard, that culantro?
Straight up. I picked it right before the show.
Nice, man. And that's funny because I think for me, sancocho has to have culantro. I don't think I've ever had a sancocho without culantro. And the sancochos I've had in my life have always had way more ingredients than what you mentioned initially that someone said they should have. So I was just like, what's going on in the world? Can't we all just have our version of sancocho?
Zapallo in mine. I love zapallo in my sancocho.
That zapallo's the bomb, dude. Is the bomb. Now, do you have your sancocho with rice, or you just have it by itself? Do you just have it like, do you mix the rice in there like most people do, and you just like...
No, I'm not a big fan of rice, which probably which probably will go in contrast of our next item. But staying on the on the sancocho tip, I love sancocho. It cures everything. They actually did studies, where chicken soup is actually can cure the common cold. You know what I'm saying? Grandma always
Yeah,
said, have your chicken soup. So sancocho cures everything. Everyone should just sit down, have a sancocho, and this COVID thing might be over. Maybe, I don't know.
it's possible. I mean, they even say sancocho cures like hangovers, right?
Oh,
We
yeah.
discussed sancocho in our hangover show, and we
Mhm.
talked about sancocho.
And I think like if there was a national dish, I don't think it's an actual dish. I think it's the Panamanian ability to make a really delicious soup. They're so good
Mm-hmm.
at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have all kinds of soups. With like we were talking about before, beef, lots of beef here. So you have beef stew, very good.
Yeah,
And then you have sopa de pata, which is cow hoof soup. Now that cures a hangover. We talked about that before.
for
Very
sure.
thick, very tasty. So I think the Panamanian ability to like get something from the different cultures and mix it all together is the true uh, national uh, food of Panama.
Our
Is the beef.
ingenuity, our culinary ingenuity to innovate.
Exactly. Innovative cooking.
That's right. That's right. And do you think so? Talking about the sopa de mariscos, because that's another delicious treat that
Oh,
we
wow.
enjoy here. I think this is enjoyed mostly on the Caribbean side,
Mhm.
potentially
Well,
other countries. So Bocas del Toro, Colón. You
right.
can have
So
a nice sopa de marisco, man.
oh, delicious. So I think what we need to talk a little bit about is the two styles of sopa de marisco. You have the criollo, which is like a broth, a red sauce broth, and then you have the Caribbean style, which has coconut milk in it.
Ooh.
And it just takes it to a whole nother level. Also, I mean, if we're talking about sopa de marisco, we have to talk about guacho de marisco because
Oh man, don't even
ooh,
get me started, dog.
sopa
Love me some
lasa,
guacho.
it'll raise the dead.
Yeah.
So, man, I'm getting hungry. So a
Be-
guacho
mm,
originally is like a rice-based soup. You boil the rice up and down until it becomes kind of part of the soup. It's like a porridge, but
mm.
it usually has beef or pork in it. But when we're in the Caribbean, you got to add the fruits of the sea, man.
Fruits of the
The
sea.
shrimp, octopus, all the delicious things that come out of the ocean that are abundant in Panama. That
Mm.
gets put into the guacho and the sopa de marisco. And I like. I mean, I make mine so hot, my ears sweat.
You get the hiccups too, because you get the hiccups when you eat the spiciness, man.
I know some people they get tears and they get like inflammation. I don't. I get hiccups, and once the hiccups passed, I'm good.
Man, that's amazing. The first time I ever had a guacho, it was at my grandma's house. So I have my grandma who lives in Las Cumbres, and we were
Mhm.
staying with her. The first summer I came back from the US, we went to stay with her for the summer, right?
Yeah.
So we are like, okay, all right, let's go stay with grandma. And she would always cook all these things. I didn't know what they were, but she was cooking all these things. And she made guacho, and I remember seeing guacho and of course I'd never seen guacho in my life because in the US I don't think there's anything similar to guacho, or at least I hadn't seen anything up until that moment, man. And I saw that and I was like, I'm not gonna eat that crap. I was like, what is this? Garbage.
What is
Ah,
this porridge? What are you, why are you why are
what
you
is in
troubling
there?
me?
It's like octopuses. You don't eat those. But I was like, no way, man. And then now I love it. It's crazy.
Mm.
But the first time I saw it, the presentation, because the presentation's not that great, man.
Got a little tentacle sticking out here. There's like a
Yeah.
clamshell over here, and maybe a fish eyeball sticking out of
A
you. Like,
fish eyeball, man. And you know what I hate when you're eating something and you're like sticking a big spoonful in it, and then you put it in your mouth and you're just expecting that everything that's in your mouth is completely and totally chewable. But that's not the case if there's a clamshell in there.
yeah,
So
that
you're
is a
gonna get
pet peeve. No, for me, when you serve something, you should be ready to eat. Like that, those shrimp should be shelled. I think it's like, how are
Mhm.
you gonna serve shrimp with shells on it? With a garlic sauce on top. Come on, get
Yeah,
those shells
dude.
out of
Because then you have to spend the whole time like chewing. You know how you chew where you're not sure if everything is chewable. You're just like, mm. And then you just
Yeah,
like you can't enjoy it. You can't just be like, I'm
you have
enjoying
to
my guacho.
be a careful chew.
That's right.
You,
Because if not, you're gonna break your tooth, and then you gotta go to
pro
the
tip.
dentist.
Pro tip. First thing you do, you fish out those clams because when the spoon hits it, makes a little sound, that ding ding. So you just fish those suckers out, you put them on the side, and then you scoop the clam out later.
True that,
Pro
man.
tip.
True that. That is a pro tip. That is a pro tip. I'm gonna keep that in mind, man, because man, that totally ruined my life. You know where I had a really nice guacho recently? Tapa del Coco is a very popular restaurant here in Panama with a Caribbean flavor. Man, had some guacho.
My favorite guacho de mariscos is in Isla Grande.
Ooh, nice.
And usually when I'm in Isla Grande, I'm partying. So
Word.
that is, it brings you back to life.
No doubt, man. Plus the sea breeze. That's another rapscallion destination then when we do our rapscallions trip around the country.
That's right.
Guacho at Isla Grande. Without a doubt, man.
Well, while we're on the seafood trip, one of my favorite soups, probably not that popular though, is fish head soup.
I don't think I've ever had that. Please tell us about it.
Well, you cook everything up, but that's one of the talents is getting the leftovers, making sure nothing is left behind. Something we need to get back to in this time of ours where we're super consumerist. Use everything. And you know what? There's so much delicious stuff. What you do is you take, like when you fillet a fish, you're left with the carcass, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how many flavors are in there? So you just boil down the same thing you can do with the lobster heads and lobster shells. When you're done eating the shell, you can boil that down and make like a bisque or a broth. And the fish head soup, you boil it down. Maybe you put some nyame in there, and that's it. And then tons and tons of hot sauce. Like you want smoke coming out of your ears. So my friend Ish Rios made the best fish head soup. That's where I got my recipe from. You just cook down the fish heads, you add the root vegetable, and then you add hot peppers, and that's it. Salt and pepper, nothing else.
But is the fish's head still in there when you're eating it?
You can take it out.
Oh, so you don't have it on your bowl, right? You're not eating it, and it's like in your bowl looking at you.
No. Okay. Come on, like I said, you got to think of the person eating. Like what I do if I go to the fish market and I take the fillets, maybe I'm making a ceviche. I'll take the fish head and the fish tails and throw them in a crock pot. Let that thing cook. Leave it overnight. The next day, you put your root vegetables in there and your condiments, and tons of hot peppers, and then you fish out all the unsightly stuff, but the flavor is left behind.
Right. And there's nothing like the flavor, dog. Nothing like the flavor.
Gante, you're just like, you're like Popeye. You're like doot doot, but you just have to go back more.
Man, there's nothing like that spiciness that makes you sweat, and you're suffering, but you're like, man, I just want to eat this.
Not suffering. It's like, whoa, give me
That's
more.
right. That's right. It hurts so good.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of hot pepper, let's have a look at these. Is this a good segue, Joe?
Yeah, it's a perfect segue.
Here we go. Wasa.
Oh, snap. Is that Ahi Chumbo?
This is Ahi Chumbo. Ahi Chumbo. Now, there's
that looks like it has a face.
It's a little evil face like me.
Yeah, dude.
So, a lot of people ask, what is an Ahi Chumbo? Well, they're from the Habanero family. Mm-hmm. In the Caribbean, they're called Scotch Bonnets.
Scotch Bonnet.
Scotch Bonnet because they're supposed to look like there's some kind of Scotch headgear.
Right.
This looks, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like maybe
like a bonnet.
Mary from Little House on the Prairie.
Huh.
So this is a habanero type pepper. In Jamaica and the Caribbean, they're called Scotch Bonnets, and the pepper experts actually say that the Scotch Bonnets from the Caribbean is sweeter in flavor. So it's the same heat. It's supposed to be like 15 times hotter than a jalapeno, 150 to 230. I don't know. Numbers on the Scoville. Them hot.
Yeah. Huh.
Good thing is, and I think every single Panamanian and Zonian will agree to me, that the Ahi Chumbo is even sweeter than the Scotch Bonnet. This is one of the most flavorful Habanero family. It's chinensis, so it's called Chinese capsicum chinensis.
So let me ask you something. So in the grand scheme of things, then a jalapeno, It's just not. It doesn't compare to an ahi chombo.
Actually, I don't like jalapenos. They're too. You know that when you cut up in a bell pepper and there's a lot of that white fiber stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
The jalapeno has that. It's very grassy. It's very green, and it has a lot of that flavor. And I made what I did is I fermented my habanero bush, like you said, man. We got gamma rays up here, and it's called sheep
Mm,
poop. I put some new berries on the habanero bushes, and that thing exploded, man. I have
a word.
so many peppers. So what I did is I blitzed it up in the food processor, and I added a 10% salt ratio, and I
Uh-huh.
let it ferment for about 2 weeks. And brother, let me tell you something. That stuff is addictive. It's
Word.
sweet, it's tasty, it's hot, but it's a hot that you love it.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
was like, well, what if I use maybe this is a little too hot? I need to think about my friends and stuff.
Mm.
I got some habaneros and I did the same thing. I'm telling you, man, I did it on purpose. It's not as tasty. The ahi chombo from Panama is bar none the tastiest of all peppers, in my opinion.
I agree wholeheartedly. Let me just ask you a question though, because I'm concerned about your well-being.
Yeah.
Now that you've touched those, don't touch your face. Oh no! If you touch your face, are you gonna get all spicy on your eyeballs and suffer?
You got to get the oil on you. So, uh, if this was cut open, then you're likely to have the oil on your fingers. So another pro tip, um, if you're cooking and you're afraid of these, you can get gloves. But if, another technique is you cover, like I use my right hand with my knife and my left hand, the hand that handles the hot pepper, I cover it with olive oil or cooking oil. And that acts as a barrier for the capsicum oil. And then you can just wash it off.
Ah, pro tip,
Yeah.
because you don't want that spiciness in your face, man. That'll kill you.
And this is a young one, and you might have seen green ones, orange ones, and red ones. So while they're on the bush, they'll go all peppers, bell peppers, a red bell pepper and a green bell pepper are the same exact one. But if you leave it on the bush, the green one will eventually turn red, and in between it'll be yellowish orangish. So it
So
depends
then,
on when.
is it just the maturation?
Yeah, it's when you harvest it. So I harvest both of these were on the bush, but if I'd have left this one, it'll eventually take on the red color,
It'll turn red,
and
and
then
then it'll
once,
be spicier when it's red.
yeah, it'll get spicier, and then if you leave it, like this one is a young red one, and then this one's a little older. You see, it's a little darker, but something happens on here. It starts getting little cracks in it. I don't know. You probably
Hmm.
can't tell. There's like a little white line here
Right. Wrinkles.
where there was a crack, and then it healed itself.
Oh
That's called.
wow.
And when it starts corking, that means it's getting hot no ras. That's a scientific term, by the way. Hot no
Hot no
ras.
ras. You heard it here first, folks.
That's right. And when you eat something that's hot no ras, your first
Uh-huh.
reaction should be, Lord, that's pepper.
Whoa, man! I'm so amazed that it can heal itself, and it's called corking. You said
Cork, a cork.
like a cork,
Yeah, and then they're corking right here.
man. So it's like the Wolverine
Yeah,
of peppers,
exactly, exactly.
basically. I mean, come on, Wolverine of peppers doesn't get better than that. Some shout outs on Instagram, my friend. Aquilino has joined us. What up, Aqualine? Shout out to you. And Carina says, Sancocho for life.
Yes. Also, love it. Great topic. So hungry now. Haha. Sancocho is life. I love it. We also have Delight Nelson Ronery says, Mejor comida del mundo. Eso sí es verdad. Picante y
Mm-hmm,
sabroso.
mm-hmm.
I love that comment. And then a little heart here or a
Yeah,
care.
man.
It care because the little when you see the care, it's like the happy face is hugging an ahi chombo.
True that, man. I like
Yeah,
that emoticon, the care emoticon. That's nice, man.
yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. Hey, let me tell you something. So, what would you recommend on the ahi chombo tip? If you had to recommend a specific hot sauce to everybody, what would it be, man? Because I know in the past we've spoken about delidas. But then there's one that you turned me on to, which is that the name I forget now. But that one is like quality.
I know there's a lot of people in the U.S. watching the show now, so I have to mention my friends. They made a Panamanian style hot sauce in the U.S.
A word?
called Howler Monkey sauce. If you Google Howler Monkey, we'll put it on the Facebook Live. My buddies moved to the States, and every time someone comes back from Panama to the United States, they have to bring their hot sauce. A
Hmm,
very popular one is Delidas.
hmm.
The one that I like is Congo. It's called
That
Secreto.
one.
That one's really good.
That one's really good.
Uh,
Yeah.
but now that I have my own pepper bush, um, the fermented, where you ferment it just in salt, man, that's really good. One of my friends who also ferments, he's like, you got to try because when you ferment them, it's large chunks.
Hmm.
So you're kind of spooning on this chunky hot sauce.
Right.
So he's like, you got to try blitzing it up in agua de pipa in coconut water. He says it's
What? Really?
yeah. So that's what I'm gonna
Oh,
do
that
with it.
sounds really interesting. That
I'm
sounds
gonna
really interesting, man. Because agua de pipa makes everything better.
oof, it does. I love agua de pipa and seco. One of my
I
favorites.
wish I had some right now, but I don't. I
True.
don't.
True.
Hey, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna. So speaking of
Mm-hmm.
hot sauce, ahi chombo. You know what I like to put that on?
Yeah.
Ceviche, man. I
Oof.
love putting some hot sauce on some ceviche, and Panama is renowned for its delicious ceviche. I know what some people say. No, they make some great ceviche. Wait, before I carry on, we have a shout out for Sister House. Sister House hot sauce. That
Very
one's
good.
also pretty good. It's very good.
Yeah.
We have that one here at home as well. Totally recommended. Um, Ahi Chombo on ceviche, man. I mean, I tried the Peruvian ceviche. I prefer the Panamanian one, 100%. 100%. It's delicious, the Peruvian one. Don't get me wrong. But man, I mean, the ceviche corvina here, or is it it's like corvina tilapia, el de pulpo? Oh,
That's
ceviche de
also
pulpo. So
I,
amazing.
oh, it's so good. I'm a man of I like to try all kinds of different things. And people they get some inspiration from Peru, so maybe they're adding corn in it, or the one with piva. I think piva gets kind of lost in it.
Mm, yeah.
I want this is what I want in my ceviche. I want onions, fish, lemon juice. Oh,
Mm.
can I talk about lemons next?
Talk about lemons, man.
So
Talk
Panama
about them.
lemons, salt and pepper. I always put maybe a one garlic clove in there, and if
Right?
it's really tart, maybe I'll put a little sugar just to get some of the tartness down. You got to adjust sometimes.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I like the ceviche de corvina, traditional style, and with lots. And I mean, Joe, when I make uh, ceviche, I put a lot of peppers in it. It's got to be
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hear you, man. And there's nothing more refreshing, man, than having a nice ceviche. I do love my mixed el mixto because I love my pulpo in there, man.
I love me.
With a cold beer.
Oof.
Remember? I think it was like what 2 years ago. It feels now that we went to the Causeway. We had some ceviche. That
Oh, it
was some
was.
good time.
Uh, it feels like yesterday, but it was a pretty long time ago. I think.
It was a pretty long time ago, man. But it was some good ceviche, man. Totally liked it. I don't understand. I mean, I understand we gotta innovate and do new things, man. And I've seen a lot of these fancy ceviches, like a deli gourmet and stuff, where like they have like
Oh,
apples and
well,
stuff. Huh?
it's tasty. It's tasty.
It is tasty. It is tasty, but it's just not that ceviche.
Yeah, I want the original.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. I just got to get a quick thing on my feed. You can see that it has my handle. It's at Joe Mesquita. The S sneaked in
Oh,
there. The S didn't want to be left out. So it sneaked in there. It's okay.
sneak,
It's a sneaky S. S for sneaky.
sneaky. I'll see if I can take care of that right now.
S for sneaky. But yeah, man, I love me some ceviche. Ceviche is the bomb. Diggity, man. I think that's what I miss once this lockdown started. Being able to go to the beach, have an ice cold beer, a ceviche. Man, that is amazing stuff. Too good, man. Too good. Put some hot sauce on there. It is amazing. Now,
How about
HB, I know, huh? Oh, perfect. The sneaky S left.
you know what I did is I put some Ahi Chumbo on that S, and he was like, "It's too hot."
Hot no ras, and it ran away.
Ran away. One of the we were talking about ingredients.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I love about Panama is the citrus that we have here. There's so many varieties of citrus, but if you're making a real uh, ceviche, you gotta use the limon criollo. You have
Mm,
to use
mm,
the lemons from here. And a lot of people, are maybe they're in the states and they're trying to find an equivalent. The limon criollo de Panama is a key lime. That's
Key
what it's
lime
called.
pie.
It's not what it is. That's what it's called in different places. So I made a key lime pie yesterday.
Boom. Look at you, man. You're like a Renaissance man. You
And
master all the arts.
you might be thinking that's kind of small pie, but I make mine extra sour. So the recipe asks for it asks for 4 ounces of lemon juice, right? And it
Right?
said equivalent of 40 key or 20 key limes. You know how many lemons I had to use?
How many,
4.
man?
4.
What?
So like in the States, the key limes are about this big, right?
Yeah, that's tiny, dude.
But here on in El Campo, when you have the sheep poop, you got some mama jammas like this.
Wow. Man, that looks like an apple.
These are my criollos. They're about an ounce of juice each, and that's incredible. You know, sometimes you go to the store and you get lemons, and you're squeezing it, and nothing
Yeah.
comes.
For sure.
That if you leave it on the tree, leave it on the tree until it's and when you pick it, it just goes bloop, just
Like
comes
it
right
wants
off.
to come off. It's like, take me with you.
One,
I don't want to be here anymore.
yeah, before it's like I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
And then when you get to about this size, you just put your hand in, and the lemon's saying, "I want to go with you and make your life taste better."
Wow. Man, that's a circle of life.
Circle of life.
Circle
So
of life.
what I'm drinking today is some of them lemons
Mm.
with some of this stuff right here. This is miel de caña. This is
Oh,
cane syrup.
snap.
And some of you might know it as raspadura. So first you have the cane syrup, then you have the seco herrerano. I'm sorry. First you have the cane syrup. Then when you cook it down, that will like concentrate into this. This is the
Right?
cane syrup. And if you
Right?
go past this, then you get la raspadura.
Mm.
Now, there's a lot of confusion out there as to what brown sugar is. Brown sugar and raspadura are not the same thing.
Speak on it
Brown sugar is unrefined sugar with molasses added to it.
for the
So
color.
this is unrefined sugar, not brown sugar.
I don't think I've ever had raspadura in my coffee.
It's kind of grassy.
Have you?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I've tried. White sugar for me or unrefined sugar is the best, in my
Yeah.
uh, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know. I've stopped having sugar in my coffee because I'm trying to keep my sugars down. So I can eat my 50 donuts a day.
I have someone here wants to say hello. Margaret Hatcher.
Oh, good grief. Good grief. She's here.
The eggs that 4 eggs, 4 egg yolks, plus 4 ounces of delicious key lime or limon criollo, and mix that up with a can of condensed milk. And you take some of the zest off the lemon, you put it in there to make it super tart. And hey, don't you look at my pie, girl.
Hey,
And then
she's trying to eat your pie.
you mix it all together. You have a key lime. It's so easy and it's delicious, right? Right?
I think
That's right.
Margaret's like, give me my pie. I want my pie.
Yeah. I want some pie. All right, thank you, Margaret. Thank you for the eggs.
Oh, that was the sweetest chicken I've seen in my life.
So sweet. I always feel bad because they like to jump up and look through the kitchen window, and I was like, you don't want to see what's going on in here.
They jump. Chickens can. Oh yeah, they can jump.
Yeah. So
Chickens are jumpers.
I have some leña de nance stacked up outside the kitchen window, and they jump up there. We have a box there. That's where they lay their eggs, but they're always looking in. And I was like, I don't know if you want to see what's going on in here.
It's like, this won't be good for your mental health, Margaret. You gotta get out of here, man. She trusts you with her eggs, and you put them in pie.
Oh, our buddy Andrew Eftimiadis is asking, is tilapia a poo-poo fish? Asking for a friend. There is controversy about using tilapia in ceviche. So there's a couple rules of thumb that you have to go by when you're making ceviche. And one is never to make it in a metal bowl because you'll have a reaction between the metal and the acid of the citrus. The other rule of thumb is um, use saltwater fish and not freshwater fish.
Mm.
Now, the reasoning behind that is freshwater fish tend to have parasites, whereas those parasites can't survive in saltwater. And again, you're using raw fish, so you can do it, And most tilapia is farm raised, which means it's super cooped up,
Yeah.
not the freshest. I don't mean by not professional, but whenever you put a lot of animals in a closed space and you force them, it tends to increase the probability of uh, diseases and parasites
I
and stuff like that.
guess, man. Yeah, but it can be
So if
used.
you're using fish, it can be used absolutely. I mean, any fish can be used. Um, if you're making a ceviche, you can use a firm white fish. A lot of times when I go to the States, people ask me when I'm visiting to make a ceviche for them, and you can make it out of. I think the last time I made it was out of flounder. That was really good.
Oh
Um,
wow, flounder,
flounder,
man. That's the little mermaid's like friend, dude.
he's delicious. You can use any white fish. You can use grouper. A grouper will fall apart a little bit, but there's tricks that you can do to firm up the fish before you slice it up.
Hey, I saw a recipe. Martha Stewart, well known. She was under house arrest. She was making ceviche out of tilapia, and she's friends with Snoop Dogg. So I'm sure she knows what she's doing. And Rob Getman, he says you need to social distance your tilapia, bruh,
Indeed,
because they don't
indeed,
want to get COVID under the sea
exactly.
or in the pond wherever you're keeping them.
Some good wisdom there that we can all listen to. Robbie G is whenever we concentrate anything becomes can become toxic, and he's an
It,
expert on wastes and waste materials and stuff.
that's right, man. He's an environmentalist.
Yes,
That's what he does. All right, let's keep our journey going through Panamanian cuisine, my friend.
yes, sir.
I'm going to make a quick stop at a dish that it's a problematic dish for many people,
Mm.
because this dish is a carb. And I know many people have toxic relationships with carbs
Mm. Mm.
because they don't like the carbs. Sometimes the carbs just taste so good, man. And I'm talking about rice. Rice is a carb, right? Yeah, rice is a carb.
Yeah, it's all like all sugar.
Rice is a carb, man. But let me tell you something. One of my most favorite dishes, and I remember when I was studying in Scotland, one night I was telling my friends, I was like, hey, I'm going to prepare you guys a Panamanian feast, So I knew that this rice had to go in this feast that I was going to prepare. And I had to search. For the special ingredient that goes into this rice, man. And I'm talking about arroz con coco y Wandu.
Ooh, oh yes, sir.
Mm.
See, I'm not a big rice guy. I'm not a big rice guy, but it's for other reasons. I don't like when they put the what's it called, mejorado. Anyway, they add like iron to it or something like that, and for me, I don't digest that well. But
Mm.
for arroz con guandú y coco, I will make exceptions, brother. And when you ask me if
Man,
I'm having a sopa de marisco, I'll have a arroz con guandú y coco.
man, that is the bomb. I can't think of any person that doesn't like arroz con guandu. If you don't like it, or if you do like it, let us know. Comment. Let me tell you something, man. When I was searching for this in Scotland, so of course in Scotland, nobody knew what guandu was. So I go to all these shops that
Gungo
had all these
man.
gungo peas, exactly. So I had to like figure it out. And I was like, gungo peas, man. Gungo peas, and pigeon peas as well. And then once I started doing that, they were like, we got you. Check over there. And I was like, whoa.
We just planted some. Myron David Seitz said, "No life without rice. Life is rice, huh?"
Life is rice, man. That needs to go into a t-shirt, man. Life is rice.
Yeah. Well, I like sake, so yeah, rice. Make me
That's
feel.
right, man. Life is rice. I agree, man. And if there's one thing that we here in Panama, it is loads of rice. Because not only do we eat this beautiful and delicious arroz con guandu, but what's another dish that you're almost always going to see at a family gathering or at a party or when you're out carnavaling? Arroz con pollo, man.
Arroz con pollo.
Arroz con pollo is everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere, everywhere. I don't think there's much. I mean, I don't know much about. All I know is it's rice with chicken, man. Y colorante. What gives it the yellow color, HB? Do you know?
Well, you can use achiote or
Chiote.
anato. Yeah, that's what gives
That's
it
right.
its flavor. So that's kind of like it's kind of like the poor sibling of a paella. You know?
Oh man, but it's so rich
Oh,
in
it's
emotional vibes.
and emotional vibes. That's comfort, Panamanian comfort food right there.
True that.
And when you're eating arroz con pollo, you got to cover that with Maggi, ketchup Maggi.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's like you got to have a beer with a ceviche, and with arroz con pollo, you got to have the Maggi.
Arroz con pollo, man. I remember when I was in high school, whenever there was somebody that was always like everywhere, they were like, man, ese man es arroz con pollo. Because they were everywhere. And it's true, man. You can't go to a gathering here without no arroz con pollo, man. That's against the law. That should be enshrined in our constitution.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So that's chicken and rice. That's pretty prevalent throughout the Caribbean. I think any Hispanic or Latin American country is going to have their variant of arroz con pollo, and I think that's, like I said, it's kind of like the cousin the cousin of the Spanish paella.
HP, and now that we're talking about achiote,
Mhm.
I'm going to talk about a different Panamanian dish, which is very controversial and also uses achiote for its coloring. And I think you know what I'm talking about. The tamales. Tamales, man.
And I'm glad that we got, this one was my favorite one to research. Oh, hey,
Tell us about it, man.
Before
What's up?
we move on, I need to take a step back because Dave and Myra's site say arroz con huevo frito for breakfast. Truth?
Ooh. Yeah, man.
That's a complete meal. It's got all the vitamins, carbs, amino acids, and everything. That's absolutely complete. You can
True that,
survive
man.
eggs and rice.
True that, man. True that. I hadn't added that one to our list, but that's a fact. Now you know, man. If the world is coming to an end, guard yourself in your home with rice, eggs.
I don't know if this is a tangent, but the reason why I found that out is I was reading a story about someone who was taken hostage, and he survived like 6 years on eggs and rice, fried eggs and rice.
Wow, is that what his hostage?
Like
what the people that
like years.
That's what they gave him. Wow, man, those are nice kidnappers, man. If I was gonna kidnap someone, I'd give him like I don't know what I'd give him. Probably
Like
nothing.
if they added some aguacate to that, maybe I'd be like, "Ooh, Club Med."
Oh, dude, aguacate, man. Aguacate is the bomb too. Hey, quickly, shout out to Robert Martin, Robbo, tuning in on Instagram. He gives us a thumbs up. Thumbs up to you too, brother. Hope all is well.
We're gonna talk
Master,
about Robbie,
Master mixologist, by the way. Master mixologist.
because some of the ingredients that we have here today is gonna remind us of that show. So stay tuned, Robbie. I got a shout out too.
Shout out.
to Dorita Avila, who, if you have been paying attention, Fam Scallions, she is the person who wrote this book, Across a Bloodstained Isthmus. Rapscallions, full support. Check it out on Across a Bloodstained Isthmus. I just started reading it, but I got sneak peek of it a few years ago when before it was published, and I liked what I saw. But Dorita says, I love arroz con Wandu, but not with coco. I'd rather have the coco sauce on the marisco and the rice be 100% white. That is a common choice, I think. I actually like the arroz con coco almost as much, if not more, than the arroz con coco y Wandu.
I mean, arroz con coco is like the bomb diggity.
Arroz con coco is just so delicious. And
Seriously.
I like the arroz when I do. Before the show, we were so hungry. And Joe's asking me, "Do you like your sancocho with arroz?" It's like if I do, it's got to be the arroz con Wandu. I like that flavor. And
For sure.
Wandu is just such a very important crop. It's very nutritious. It's good. Like if you, we just planted some. We're gonna plant them next to our avocado trees because they're nitrogen fixers. They put nitrogen in the ground, and the plants around it can eat that nitrogen and grow. And hopefully that'll help our aguacates. So
circle of life, dog.
Circle of life. Wandu is a staple crop.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Hey, you know what? But please, if you get enough and you start selling it, don't sell it for super expensive amounts of cash like people are doing these days, man. Wandu's gotten really expensive, dog. Come on now. Come on.
Great. Like you can buy garbanzos cheaper than you can buy Wandu. It's crazy.
Come on, man. Give me a break, man. Wandu. Hey, what you Guandu? Get it?
What you do nickname for you. You know, what I did recently is I made a bean paste or a hummus of Wandu. I think I showed that to you.
You
Now,
did, man. It looked amazingly delicious.
yeah, don't lie, don't lie. Joe's being nice, ladies and gentlemen. The problem is that it's very delicious, but the color not so appetizing. It looked more like pumice.
Pumice, like the poop emoji. All
Yeah,
it was missing was the eyeballs.
missing the little googly eyes on it, but it tasted good.
I wouldn't know. I'm thinking it did. I'm thinking it did. I didn't taste it though, so I don't know.
It was good. It was very delicious. And you know what? Like, we think of hummus. We're like, ooh, it's so exotic. It's just a bean paste. You can mash up any beans and add the flavoring of your choice. I love hummus. I love to make it. I like making black bean dip. Very delicious. You put some sausage in there. So the hummus of Wandu or the the Gungo Pea hummus,
Pigeon pea hummus.
pigeon pea hummus, pigeon poo hummus. More like I just put culantro and garlic in it. Ooh, it's good. Very strong flavor.
I like that. That sounds amazing. Hey, man, I think you're gonna have to open a restaurant when all this is said and done, man. Or one of those experiences where people go to your house, they harvest the stuff, they cook their own food, and then you charge them for it because you gave them an experience.
I love it. I'll just leave like they'll pick all this stuff and I'll be like, here's the recipe, and then I'll hand it to them. And they gotta clean the dishes too.
That's right. And they gotta clean the dishes, and then they gotta go.
Mhm.
They can't stay around hanging out. What is that? Get out of here.
Can we have a bottle of wine? No, go home.
Talking nonsense, man. Seriously. Hey, man, HB. So now, okay, I think we've said all we can say about rice.
Yeah.
You know, as you can see, we love the rice. Shout out to Shorty and Slim. They just logged on. Alex Reyes on sass.panama
Rice
on the Instagrams.
It's hot, boy.
Let's talk about tamales.
Harvester of Hollow. What does that mean? Like Sleepy Hollow?
Whoa, that's scary.
Spooky. Oh, you know what we didn't mention as far as rice? We talked about huacho, but we didn't talk about pico de gallo.
True that, man.
That's pretty good.
True that, man. Hey,
And, one of my favorite places. The first thing I do when you and I are allowed to go out and eat. Me and you are going to Tapiche, man. Oof.
truth, man. Truth. You know, last time I had to order some trapiche because I wasn't feeling so well. You know what I needed? And I didn't have anything here at home. I needed a sancocho, man. And their sancocho is pretty good. So I had to order one from Trapiche. And they even wrote a nice note on the bag, which I really appreciated. Yeah.
I think one of my favorite dishes from Trapiche is the cazuela de mariscos. It's like a little paella just filled with seafood. I mean, when you're done with that, you can share it between two people. And
Man, you know,
2.5 people.
dude, you know what I love me so much? When you have, the patacones, like the basket, and then you have the seafood deliciousness in there.
Oh, yeah.
Have you had those? Man.
Con relleno.
Con relleno, man. Oh, man. That's amazing.
I guess we just jumped on our next topic. I love it. You're the master of the segue, dog.
Oh, man. Patacones.
In other countries, they may be known by blasphemous names such as tostones or some other not appropriate name. But in Panama, patacones.
Patacones, man. That's right. We love our patacones, man. And these have to be made. These have to be made from plátanos. Plátanos verdes, because these are fried green plantain discs, man.
Yeah, delicious.
And these I included these in the meal that I made in Scotland because I was able to get plantains in Scotland. I was able to get plantains, fresh plantains. I think it's one of those things that surprised me the most because I remember one winter I went to the supermarket because I needed to buy some groceries and stuff, and I walked into this and it was snowing like never before outside, like mad snow. But I went to the supermarket expecting the shelves to be barren and for there to be nothing because of this blizzard. I walked in and you know what I saw everywhere? I saw mangoes, I saw plantains, I saw oranges, I saw all these things. And I was like, man, globalization. How crazy.
It's crazy. Now, plantains is a very important staple crop around the world. There's so many countries that use plantain. Uh, Now, as far as patacones go, I've been working really hard to perfect my baked patacones. So you can have
Big
that.
patacones.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to replicate this frying is obviously it's the best way to cook anything. Like if you have fresh fish, people ask me what should I do with it. I was like, if you just pulled it out of the ocean, fry it. That's the best way
Yeah.
to eat fish.
Right.
It cooks everything. Fried chicken, best way. But sometimes you're at home, you don't want to. Some of these recipes that we're talking about can be pretty arduous. When you're making patacones, you've got to fry. You cut up the green plantain, you fry it, you take it out.
But first, you got to smash it, dog. You got to smash it.
No, you don't smash it. You have to double cook it. First you cook it as a trozo. So you have like a little log of plantain. You fry that. Then you smash it, and if you know the secrets, you dip it in ice water before you throw it back in the hot oil. That makes it crispy. Now that double frying and all that, oh my gosh, you're gonna come out of there looking like a teenager who's doing the fry stand at McDonald's. I mean, you're covered with, I don't know, but
oil.
I don't like frying that much, so this is what I do to make my baked patacones, and you're hearing it here first.
Exclusive.
I steam the patacones. I have a big pan, and I put them in there with the skin on, and I put a little bit of water, not enough to cover it, but enough to make some steam, and then I put a top on it. And that steam. It'll cook it, and when the skin pops open, then it's ready. You take it out, you slice it up, and then you smash it. You put a little bit of oil and salt on it, and throw it in the oven, and they'll come out probably 80% as delicious as a perfectly fried patacon.
Is it cakey? Is it cakier in its appearance, or is it still crunchy?
Still crunchy. It's delicious.
How interesting. I'm gonna have to try that
for patacones.
No, man, like, ketchup, dude. Ketchup Maggi. You can't go wrong with that.
Truth.
Come on, man.
That's
Ketchup Maggi, man. We've said ketchup Maggi so many times today, man. They should be paying us.
Exactly. You know what I like is patacones with ropa vieja on top.
Oh goodness, man. Yes, ropa vieja. Man, I never realized how much, huh?
We got a shout out. Ingrid Max says, "Great show, guys. Got to run. Thanks. Eat up." See, we're making people hungry. They're gonna leave our show early. Get some chow. You're saying,
amen. I never realized how difficult it was. Not difficult, but time consuming it was to make ropa vieja.
Oh yeah,
that is time consuming, man.
You're taking like an undesirable cut of meat, and you're cooking it, and it's called ropa vieja. It's old clothes. You know how your jeans get a little tattered and it's kind of stringy? That's why they call it ropa vieja. So you're taking not undesirable, but a less desirable cut of meat that might be a little tough.
It's still desirable to some. Just because someone else doesn't desire it, somebody else might desire it.
There's someone out there for everyone, love.
That's right.
I love it too. I love that ropa vieja.
Me too, man. I tried to make it once.
It's a little tattered. You don't have to throw it out.
No, man. Hey, listen. When I cook, I like unfortunately, I don't have a lot of patience for cooking. So when I cook, I want whatever I cook to be cooked faster than the time it takes for me to eat it. Because if I'm cooking, it's because I'm hungry. Yeah. But I think making ropa vieja for me was like a passion project. Because I just had to like get it right, dude. And I had to sit there and wait and do other stuff.
What was your revelation when you made it? I mean, take us through the emotional roller coaster.
No, at first I thought I was going to be, because again, I wasn't cooking it in Panama. I was like, I'm going to make a Panamanian dish. I was like, I want to make some ropa vieja. And then when I went through the whole thing, I was like, oh man, do I really want to make this? So just getting the meat, preparing the meat, and then letting it stew, because you have to let it stew for like a long time. And I was like, but I want to eat this now. I'm hungry, man.
Your guess, this
but I couldn't.
Panamanian cuisine, your smorgasbord.
Yes. Yeah.
So did they wait?
Man.
Did you make?
They did. I had to. Everybody, they were patient enough to wait with me, but I was just like, because I used to have this flatmate, right, who lived with me. This guy loved cooking, and he would start if he was gonna have something for dinner, he would start cooking it for breakfast, and I was like, dude, I can't do that, man. But now I can. So, but it was a learning experience, you know, because sometimes these delicious things take time.
Did your ropa vieja come out as you wished it to? Is it tasty?
It didn't. It was tasty. I think I got the flavors right. I got them spot on, considering that it was very limited. You know, the spices and herbs and all the stuff that I wanted to put on there. But I don't know if I got it like stringy like we get it here. You know,
right?
I didn't get it like that, but still, it was good. It was a good learning experience. So I was glad I did it.
I love doing that. Like when you go to like to the cafe, the stand in line type cafe, I get patacones, an order of patacones, and then I just get a plate of ropa vieja, and that's it. And then I put that,
Yeah.
and make my little perfect bite.
Oh my god, open faced sandwich, open faced small sandwich.
Exactly.
Amazing, dude. Amazing.
You have the perfect bite, right?
Huh?
The perfect bite where you try to put a little bit of everything on there, so you have
that.
delicious flavor. You're like, this time I'm gonna put 2 drops of hot sauce.
And then when it's all gone, you're like, oh, it's gone. I wish I had some more.
All gone. So sad. Should we go down fritura? Oh, we still have a lot to cover with patacones.
We do, man.
So I think my favorite topping for patacones is garlic sauce.
Garlic sauce.
Like garlic butter.
Yeah.
Like when you're in the Caribbean, next time you're in the Caribbean, check this one out. You have your Caribbean octopus, right? And that's like a coconut sauce.
Mm-hmm.
You eat the coconut or you eat the pulpo out, and then you got that sauce there. You can use either a patacon to sop it up with, or you mix it with the arroz con coco. But I think my favorite is like minced garlic. You chop up the garlic, and you put butter and a little bit of culantro and salt and pepper, and you like a corvina al ajillo, the sauce on there.
Oh yeah.
You pull out the corvina, you take the garlic sauce, you put it on the patacon. That's my favorite.
Man, that sounds amazing, man. Now I want some patacones, dude. How incredible. Can't go wrong with patacones, man.
Can't go wrong.
And you know what? You can also make from platanitos, which is also a very, popular treat that people eat. But I guess those are more like chips.
Yeah. You know what I like? When I make hummus, I use the platanitos to scoop.
One of my big ideas next time, because last time I made myself some mac and cheese, which I told you about it, right? I made it a Panamanian mac and cheese because I added,
You sent me the picture. I was like, oh my goodness.
I added Ahi Chumbo to it, and I added some queso del país to it. But for the crust on top, I crumpled up some chips. So next time around, I'm gonna crumple up some platanitos, so that's the top of the mac and cheese. So that's in my to-do list. It's gonna be amazing.
Talking about chips, I don't know if I'm going off on a tangent again, but how about yuquitas?
Oh snap, dude! Yeah, yuquitas are the bomb.
I like that with hummus too, or pigeon poo hummus.
pigeon pea poo.
I mean pigeon pea hummus.
Yeah, yuquitas are good, and everybody knows what those are made from. Yucca. Boom! There you go. Yucca, man. Yucca.
Shabam.
You also have yucca in your estate?
No, I bought this.
Oh man.
I could have lied about it, but I'm all about love.
Yes, we have everything here at the Tui estate in Santa Clara.
So yuca, I mean, you have the yuquita. You have the yuca frita, which is delicious. And of the frituras, I think even my more favorite than patacones, my favorite fritura is carimañolas, dude.
Oh my gosh, yes. Carimañolas are the bomb, dude.
Tell me about it. Those are my absolute favorite. My Aunt Eve, she was a dear friend of the family. She made the best carimañola. I never had one that good. Shout out to the Mills family and the Walker family. Aunt Eve was She was one of the best cooks, and her carimañolas. Oh my God, I can still think about them. And the thing I liked most about it was that it had the perfect picante. They were kind of
Right.
picante, little kid to eat, but they were good. They had the little slivers of Ahi Chumbo in there.
Oh wow. But how
Very.
does she make them?
She made them by hand, and you know what? That is a laborious process as well.
Yeah.
You you peel the yuca. A lot of people have their tips and tricks for that. I use a heavy duty potato peeler. You
Right.
can Some people take the knife and you can kind of peel the outer thing off. But for me, it's just faster. You invest the $1.50. You know, I know everyone has that cheapo metal potato peeler that falls apart all the time. Look, spend the
Yeah.
$1.50, the $2, get yourself a good potato peeler, and you'll be peeling everything. You can peel mangoes with that thing. You can peel yuca with it. You just go shwa. You can peel your zapallo with it. So you first you got to peel
Mm.
it. You got to cut it up, and then you got to take the thick cord out of the middle. Sometimes it has it, sometimes it doesn't, and you boil it. Boil it in salt water. You boil it until it gets soft. Then you got to mash it, and the original recipe has lard in it. So you mash it with lard. I make mine with butter, so I'm fancy, you know.
Right.
You
Of
mash it
course.
with lard, then you got to mash the heck out of it too. That is very laborious, but I found a trick.
Yeah.
You
What's
mash it.
that?
I got a food processor, and then you put the chunks of the yuca on there. You blitz, 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 blitz until you get the
Huh?
desired consistency, and you're out of there in like 15 minutes.
Oh snap.
That's the way to go. So then you take
All right.
you make a ball. You get a ball of the yuca masa, and on the side you have your meat.
Uh-huh.
You make your cooked meat that you're going to put in the middle,
Right.
and, and then you got to stuff that thing. Now, I told you about the perfect bite, right? I like when I make tacos, I put too many fillings in there, and when I make my carimañolas, man, it's like a thin sheet of yuca with a
Mm.
bunch of meat in the middle. I need some for Christmas, a little too sweet, but very delicious, very delicious. And with the new by using a food processor, I think I took 30 minutes off the prep time. I mean, it was so easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, that
So
sounds
no,
really delicious.
so I'm putting that back on my resume. I'm putting that back on my playlist. So
Yeah,
no,
dude, you should.
it was too labor intensive before.
Seriously, man. I love me some carimañolas, man. Actually, I can't remember the last time I had carimañolas, but they are delicious. And just FYI, fried yuca was also on the menu when I had my Panamanian feast. So yes,
Oh,
I actually found yuca in
cassava,
Scotland.
love
Cassava.
it.
Yeah, that's right. Cassava. That was the easiest thing to find. Believe it or not. I was just like, I'm looking for cassava. There it is.
That
Thanks.
one.
Yeah.
I love yuca. I love carimañolas. Also, number two on the yuca hit list is yuca al mojo.
Oh, good grief. Yeah, it's great. Mm.
Delicious. I think that's more Cuban though, but
Yeah.
still delicious. And
Yeah.
you know what? I've actually made carimañolas out of plátano, which was very interesting, very
Mm.
delicious.
Yeah.
The only problem was is that you can't freeze banana products. You can freeze them, but they won't keep their form when you fry it. So you can freeze carimañolas, and when you defrost them, they cook up perfectly. But if you make carimañolas out of plátano, they'll fall apart after you freeze them. So that's a tip and trick for you guys out there that have some leftover bananas, and maybe you want to make maybe a banana smoothie or something. If you put them in the fridge, if you put them in the freezer for a little bit, let them freeze, they'll like they'll get super creamy. I don't know why. I
Word?
guess that freezer breaks them down somehow, and the banana gets super creamy. So delicious.
Huh. That's
Yeah,
very interesting and tasty.
tasty.
Sounds
It's
very
like
tasty.
that's the tastiest tip and trick that I can think of.
Yeah, it's super tasty, man. And talking about tasty things, I'm going to take us back to something else that we were talking about earlier, but we didn't quite get around to talking about it, which is potentially the most controversial items in this list of delicious foods that we have prepared for today, HB. And that item is the tamal.
Amal. Oh my goodness, I jumped right over that, didn't I?
It's okay because we came back to it. That's
I
what we
think
did.
I was subliminally trying to avoid the controversy of the tamal.
Hey, man, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I hated tamales. I hated them because I had too many. I had too many little situations where I would eat a tamal and I would find something in it that I was not expecting to find.
See, the controversy always raises its head, and I
It
think our
does.
comment boards light up as soon as we say it. Everyone's going to write it like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Hmm.
That's exactly what
I don't
you're
know
talking
how
about.
to cross this river, Joe. I don't know how to broach this subject.
I mean, I think I think we can all agree, first and foremost, that tamales are all supposed to have certain items,
Yes.
right?
So, items.
So just kicking off from the top, tamales, as we are all aware, I think they're corn based, kind of like what would you call that? Like a corn based
Dough.
patty dough thing
Yes. Preparation.
preparation, which has a lot of different sort of delicious things put inside of it, like a carimañola.
A lot of delicious things, and sometimes people just cross the line.
And then you wrap it like a present. You wrap it in a banana leaf,
Hmm? Or a
and
bihao
you
leaf. Panama, we
how
call it.
leaf, and you give it to the world, and you give it to your friends and colleagues and family. And you're like, here, enjoy. This is delicious.
Now,
Take it from here.
doing it the right way, they will they'll put meats in there. It can be chicken, pork, or both. Sometimes they'll leave the pork bone in there or chicken bone in there in one of them, and the person who gets the bone wins a prize. That's a tradition. You can put vegetables in there, and so you have your guiso, or you have your stew with the meats and the veggies in it, and then you have the corn meal, um, and you can color that with anato that we were talking about earlier, achiote, as we were saying, and you can put olives, capers in there, delicious. But then some people cross the line, Joe.
Mm-hmm. They do cross the line, and they tend to put. Man, I
Say
just
it.
can't
Go
even
ahead.
say it.
Oh,
Man, they put raisins in it, dog.
oh gosh. Oh, man. Can we start 2021 with a hashtag? No raisins.
Hashtag no raisins.
I mean, people listening out there might think that we don't like raisins. We love raisins,
Hey,
but
raisins are great.
don't cross the line. Don't put them in the tamales.
Put them in the tamal, man. Like, is that too hard?
Please, people, please do the right thing, Joe. Joe, can you give us an inspiring phrase about how to be positive about this situation?
Raisins, they have nutritional value, and we can all appreciate that. We appreciate the value of what the raisin represents throughout time, throughout history. And it is because of that we must appreciate the raisin on its own,
Indeed,
not inside of a tamal.
inside of a tamal,
Hashtag no raisins.
raisins. Oh man, feeling a little emotional after that. I think you handled that superbly. It's very
Likewise.
controversial,
It
and
is.
bravo, well done, Joe. I don't think I would have gotten through that without you.
Thanks, man. Hey, so we're here. Support. Support. Support.
No raisins.
No raisins.
All
So
right.
I mean, as you guys can tell, HB and I we're not fans of the raisins in the tamales. If you are a fan of the raisins in the tamales, let us know why. We're
Yep.
not going to judge you.
Can judge. We might judge a little bit, but we won't invite you to a party. And if you do come to the party, you're not bringing the tamales.
That's right. That's right. It's been decided. HB, moving along from the tamal, there is another corn
So a
based.
variant of the tamal. There's a variant of the tamal. This is my favorite because my
Oh,
godmother, who's like
go,
my
go, go,
second
go.
mom,
Do it, do it.
tamal de olla.
Oh, man.
So maybe you guys out there, you don't know what a tamal de olla is. First, you have the tamal, which is the gift. It's a cornmeal with delicious stew in the middle, and sometimes not so delicious things in it. And then that's wrapped up in the hoja, in the leaf of the plantain, the banana, or the bihao. And then you wrap it up with like a gift, and you boil it, so it takes on the flavor of that leaf, gives it a grassy flavor. It's very I like it. Um, you can also microwave them because that gives it a nice traps all the moisture in there. But
Right?
the other variant doesn't have that leafiness to it because it's a tamal de olla. And essentially, it's kind of like a deconstructed tamal. So you have the guiso on the bottom, you have the layer of the meats and veggies and sauces, and then you have the corn layer on top, and then you scoop out your portion of tamal de olla. It's tasty.
Oof.
My
It is
godmother
delicious,
made
man.
tamal de olla. My goodness.
Have you ever tried
Mm.
making tamal de olla? Can you make it?
Oh, I know I could make it, but I've never attempted it.
No, me neither. I love tamal de olla, man. Whenever somebody says like they send me a menu for something, and it's like tamal de olla. I'm like, man, I'm there. I'm
Yeah.
there 100%, man. It's
I think we should
amazing.
have gotten Trapiche to sponsor us on this one. Whenever like a friend comes down to Panama that hasn't been here in a while, yeah, I was like, well, I know where we're going first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. To get some eats, dog. Get some eats. You know, another corn braced item that I love, you know, and one that always makes my visit to the supermarket, particularly El Rey on Calle 50, very nice, is el bollo. I love me some bollo, man. Bollo is the bomb. I think it's basically made the same way a tamal is made. It's just that it doesn't have things on the inside and it's
Well, we have
wrapped.
the preñado.
Ah, you do have the bollo preñado. True that. How could I forget, man?
I actually look into this conspiracy. Um, so I think I actually posted it on Facebook several years ago, and I had like a nice flurry of comments on it. So the differences between a tamal and bollo is the tamal is a corn masa de maíz or
Uh-huh.
cornmeal,
Uh-huh.
but the bollo is made from new corn, so
Maíz
young corn.
nuevo. Ah,
It's
yes.
sweeter,
Yes,
and
yes.
there's no colorant in it. And usually, when you make the tamales, the secret is, you take some of the stew sauce and you put that in your cornmeal to make it to the consistency you like, and then that gives it additional flavors. Boil
Right.
doesn't have that. It's I think it's maíz nuevo and butter,
Mm.
lard, or oil, and then that's wrapped in a corn leaf or in the same banana
Corn
leaf.
leaf dog. Yes. Man,
It's a lot of
I
corn.
love bollo, man. I love bollo. I mean, when I go to the supermarket and I see the guys there with this big metal bucket full of bollo, and I'm just like, hey, I need to buy some bollo, man. Particularly during the pandemic. Every time I've been to El Rey and I know he's there, I'm just like, because I think each of them is like 50 cents each bollo. So I'm just like, man, just give me four, man. Give me
Load
four.
me up.
And that's breakfast for the week.
Uh, and then the bollo preñado, it's just a bollo with a piece with something in the middle. So it's
Yeah,
preñado means pregnant, so it's got something on the inside.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I ate so much popcorn, I was kind of worried. Kind of worried what was going to happen the next day.
That you were gonna turn into a bollo.
Gonna, a bollo was going to come out on the going to come out on. But it was good.
You're like, oh snap, what's that? Surprise. No, man. And you know another thing that I love buying from that same guy who I get the bollo from? Torrejitas de maíz, man. Because these are like fried corn that's basically made with the same maíz nuevo. Oh man, I think it's probably the Panamanian version of cornbread. You know cornbread that you eat for like Thanksgiving and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh? I think that's what
So
it is, man. I love it.
it's like the fried corn in like the South would be a hush puppy. This is
Mhm.
like an elongated one,
Yeah.
with little the little evil guy mustache out of it. You go,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Man, I love torrejitas de maíz. Again, those are one of those things that you can like, slice it down the middle, put some cheese on either side, and just heat that up. Oof. Man, torrejitas de maíz. You can't go wrong.
something about these corn foods. We were investigating this. We did a lot of research, and of course, we got super hungry. But when we talk about origins of food, we're talking a little bit about Spain, about the Caribbean, and different ingredients coming to a melting pot. The tamal is Mesoamerican, so the tamal predates the arrival of Spaniards.
Right? Wow. So it's been a long around forever.
Yeah, yeah. So it is all Central and South American countries will have their variant of the excuse me of the tamal. I think originally it's like from the Yucatan or something like that. The
Right?
Mexican Empire is over there.
And you know what's really interesting, and I guess we should have said this earlier on, but I think we just got really excited, I guess, talking about all this food, is that Panama, to be a Central American country, I mean, our foods really don't, they're not at all similar to what you would find. I mean, you find some similar things, but like if you look at the type of foods that people eat in, say, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Guatemala, Honduras, they're all kind of very similar in what they're about. You know, there's a lot of beans, and you know, there's tortillas, which the tortillas that we have here are not the same as the tortillas that they have over there. Still delicious, but different.
Oh, so it's weird. Like it's because of the melting pot that Panama was. The pupusa kind of came south, jumped over Panama, and went to
Huh.
Colombia. That's the arepa down there, you know.
Yeah. And it's pretty crazy that we don't have that here because, you know, arepas are delicious. I mean, we can find them now at the supermarket, no doubt.
Yeah.
But we don't have, like, I guess the tortilla, or I guess it came down here and somebody said, hey, let's fry it. And then that became the tortilla, the yellow tortilla that we eat.
Fritura Central, man.
Which, again, that tortilla, delicious. Put some cheese on it. Oh, my God, amazing.
Just have to have the slice of yellow cheese on it.
Yes, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. And you know, another fried breakfast thing, which is delicious. And I was surprised the first time I saw it outside of Panama, because, of course, growing up, I thought, oh, people only eat that in Panama. The hojaldra.
Hojaldra, yes. Now there's always debate about, is it hojaldra or hojaldre? I say
Yeah,
hojaldra.
true. Hojaldra.
So essentially, this is just in other countries they might call it fry bread.
Right.
It's just like an unsweetened donut or maybe a pancake, but it's flour. My maid made them with egg, very eggy. Like she put less flour and more egg. Oh,
Right.
delicious. Because the hojaldras I get it now, they're kind of too dry for me because I grew up with a more eggy batter.
Right.
Like that. Yeah.
And you know,
And
I've seen. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Hojaldra sandwiches at Trapiche.
Oh, snap. Yes. Man, we need to go to Trapiche, man.
Yeah. You know, that's the last restaurant I ate at before the pandemic started. We were making our run to the interior, and I was like, you know what? Let's go and have our last meal. We paid out. I'm still gaining weight from that meal. That was almost a year ago.
Oh my gosh. That's incredible, man. The food is too good. Because Panamanian food is delicious. I remember seeing hojaldra. I don't remember. It was somewhere in Europe, and I was at like a carnival. It must be like a Christmas carnival or something like that. And they were selling hojaldres, whatever, in sugar and cinnamon, just like on both sides.
Fry bread.
And I thought that was right. And I was like, that is so peculiar, because that is what we have in Panama.
Yeah, and the further north you get, I think up north it's called an elephant ear.
An elephant ear, really?
When you have the sugar and cinnamon on it.
Is that the same thing? See, now where up north is that?
That would be, well, I had those in Michigan.
So this would also be a beaver tail in Canada. Because now I just Googled beaver tail and it looks like an hojaldra. I had never thought about it before.
A beaver tail is something way different.
Well, if you Google beaver tail, that's what comes out, dude.
I think my search history might come up with something different.
Look, it says it's a Canadian pastry made of whole wheat dough shaped like a much respected national symbol, a beaver's tail. Yeah, cooked in canola oil. They are served hot with a variety of toppings like cinnamon and sugar, chocolate hazelnut, maple butter. You know they love the maple up in Canada, and apple cinnamon.
So maybe that's like the Western Hemisphere's version of a crepe.
I guess so, right? Yeah, makes sense. Now, when you have your hojaldra, do you have it with sugar or do you have it with cheese? Because I know some people put cheese on it, other people put sugar on it. Cheese?
I have my cheese, yeah. But when I'm up
You've
north,
never had it with sugar?
With the sugar and the cinnamon.
Right. I remember when I was a kid, I used to have them with sugar. And I mean, I would dump the entire sugar container on top of it. Like, yeah. But now I prefer it with cheese myself.
If you have hojaldre with the sugar in stick form, you know what it would be?
What?
churro.
What? Man, I love me some churros. Churros are amazing, dude.
Yeah.
I love churros.
They've gotten expensive lately. Like, how is this going to be more than $1? You know?
I have no idea, man. I have no idea. Where did you get your churros when you were here at Manolo's?
Of course. When you go to Manolo's, you have to get a coffee and a churro. It's like you
that,
have to.
man.
It's like
True that.
someone wants to have a coffee and they say you have to go to Manolo's. It's like you're gonna get a churro. It's like you can't leave without getting a churro. Do you like it with the manjar and all that stuff?
I initially I would only have the regular ones, but then I tried it with el manjar blanco. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. But I haven't had a churro in ages. Now I want one.
Honestly, I'm not a big fan.
No?
No.
Why?
I'm like a carnivore, dude. I want meat, fruits, and vegetables. Like
so what if you had a churro? What if you had a churro with beef inside?
That's cool.
That'd be interesting.
That's why I like the emparedado de hojaldre.
Yeah.
You have the fried bread, and then you can get a ropa vieja sandwich. To me, it's brilliant. You know, you can get a club sandwich with the. See, to me, the outside is just so your fingers don't get dirty. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
To get the food inside the mouth.
No doubt. And you know what? Speaking of your ropa vieja sandwich, now all of a sudden, well, I don't know if it's all of a sudden, but at least for the past year, I've known about them. Ropa vieja empanadas. Those are pretty good. I really like those.
We got a shout out. Michelle Humphrey says, longing to go home. And there's lots of good food in Panama. I know you're going to enjoy it when you get back.
Mm-hmm. Goodness, man. Too much good food.
So what are we missing any frituras? Because if we miss, you already did the torrejitas de maíz. Did we cover all the corns?
Yeah. Oh, man, the almojábanos. I think these are mostly found in Chiriquí. It's basically fried corn in the shape of an S. It's like a tortilla. It's like a tortilla, but it's like in the shape of an S.
Oh, that's the one.
I don't know, man.
I thought that was, you meant that torrejita. I know that's the mustache one, right?
Yes. But torrejitas also they're like circular, but also have like a thing at the end. I don't know. But almojábanos, man. Almojábanos are the bomb. I love almojábanos. Again, these are these things that you get them nice and hot. You cut them, and then you put some queso blanco on there, queso del país. Oh, too good.
Ooh. You just mentioned something to me that I want to talk about.
Talk about it, man. Speak on it.
Queso blanco, queso de país, or queso prensado.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I went to Mexico a few years ago. It's right after we did, what is it? Reservoir Dogs at the theater.
Right.
So I went to Mexico, and I was there, and I had a wonderful friend show me around, and they have like 120 different varieties of cheese. So when I came back home, I was like, how many different types of Panamanian cheese do we have?
One.
So queso blanco or queso prensado, that's fresh cheese. So you're taking, it's kind of like a Panamanian mozzarella. You know, it's the fresh cheese. Don't get me wrong, I love it. Now we have quesos chela that's kind of doing their thing and introducing us to more different types of cheese. So I'm very, very happy for that. The queso blanco, I couldn't get any feta, so you know how to have the feta they bake it or fry it in the Greek restaurant. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to try that with queso blanco. Delicious. It was very good.
Yeah. I think queso blanco is definitely one of those things that you can use it for several different recipes. Like I said, when I was making the mac and cheese, I was like, at first I was like, man, I have some queso, because I didn't have all the different cheeses that they mentioned in the recipe. So I was using the ones I had here in my house. And one of them was the queso blanco, man. And quality, man, top notch.
Good. Very
good.
Dude.
It added to the consistency of it. I was like, whoa.
Very nice.
Because I baked it, right? Because I baked it. I did the whole thing and then I baked it, and I was like, it just melted on top very nicely. Oh, amazing.
You're making me hungry.
Queso
You're making me hungry.
Queso blanco. Shall we move on to desserts now? I think we've spoken about all of the
I gotta check out the list real quick. We talked about the ceviches, the frituras, tamales. Uh, oh, did we talk about all the beefs? Ropa vieja,
Beef.
bistec picao. That's a popular one.
Mm, yes,
Asajo is jerky.
yes.
Have you ever
I love
been to
tasajo.
Delicias in Gungo?
Delisa. It sounds so familiar, but no, I think I've driven past it.
They have smoked pork that is just to die for.
Yeah,
Very good.
man.
You check it out
Tasajo is one of those things that I can get like at a fonda and
yeah,
just like be happy, dude.
for sure.
Amazing.
Seafood. Panama has such a good variety, delicious variety of seafood.
Yes,
Before we go to desserts, we got to talk about the seafood a little more.
you're true. It's very true.
When I moved back to Panama after going to university, all I ate, I think for the first 2 years, was corvina al ajillo, and I'm not joking. Like it was a anytime I had dinner, it would be corvina al ajillo.
Really? Why?
I missed it so much. I love corvina al ajillo, and
Man,
I would never states, you know.
yeah. And I guess it's different to find that flavor, right? Because you have that flavor, especially when you've had it since you're a kid, and it just stays with you, and nothing ever tastes the same, no matter how much you try to recreate it.
Yeah,
So it's probably
that's it.
that, dude.
When I came back,
Yeah.
just to let you guys know, I sampled it everywhere. The best place at that time, which was around 2004, was out in Veracruz. They had all the restaurants there on the beach.
Yeah.
That was the place. It used to be like $6 or $7 for a huge filete corvina with the ajillo sauce on it and patacones
Mm.
or yuca. Now, what are we at? 12, $14?
Yeah, and it's less
Yeah,
the portion.
portions are less.
Yeah.
Oh, we can combine seafood with fritura. You get the whole fish, the pescado entero. That's when Nemo was here, he and I went to the beach and had a we got huge fish. And
Right.
see where my surgeon skills come out when I'm taking that.
Taking that apart, man.
All that's left is the bones. Nemo was
Which you
like, "Oh
then
my god!"
and then put that in a pot and make fish head soup.
Exactly. There you go.
Boom.
Boom.
You know what I like? I love me some langostinos al ajillo, man. I cannot, I cannot not like I haven't had it in ages. But again, yeah, I think in Veracruz back in the day, it was so nice to go to those little restaurants
Yeah, affordable. You know,
with some patacones, some ketchup Maggi. On point, man. On
on
point. And then some hot sauce. Some
lots
Ahi
of hot
Chumbo
sauce.
on the langostinos. Oh man, it's making me so
Yeah,
hungry, dude.
like you gotta put some of this. Boom. You gotta put some of
Mhm.
this. Boom.
And you know, it's funny because every time, so before the pandemic, I would usually go to Bocas del Toro, I think like once a year because of work.
Yeah.
And I think I would get to spend one night in Bocas del Toro. And I always had for dinner langostinos al ajillo with patacones, like religiously. I needed to have that.
Oh, you're killing me. That sounds good. Now, the last time I had it, I wasn't too happy with it, and they also left the shells on. You know, so you're struggling with your food. You know, just I want to get it in my mouth. I don't want the.
Yeah.
And then you're at a restaurant, so you really shouldn't use your fingers. You know, it's kind of like, come on, guys. You know.
No, and then you always run the risk of leaving some of the delicious like meat, the langostino on the shell.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of then you're mad at yourself because you're like, I paid $15 for this dish
Yeah.
and I left half of it on the plate.
Oh,
I hear
oh
you,
my
man.
God.
I hear you.
I think this
I
is a
hear you.
natural segue to lobster, langosta.
Man, I don't know. I don't think I can't remember the last time I had langosta.
I remember the last time I did. My friends were down
Yeah.
from the States. We were over in Portobello, and a guy comes paddling up, and we just bought all the langosta that he had, and it was very affordable and super fresh. And they're like, "HP, you're cooking them." I was like, "You want me to cook all of these?" We had so many tails, you know. The things were still alive. You pull the tail off, and you take one of its antenna and you stick it up the pooper, and then when you pull
What?
it out, it deveins them. That's a trick right there. Conan was there. Matt Dreckman was there. What a feast.
Wait, so while it's still alive, you
Yeah.
pull the tail off of it, and
Yeah.
then it's still alive, and then you pull its antenna off.
Well, and once you pull its tail off, it's dead.
So in movies, why do people just throw the lobster into boiling water without removing its tail?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of flavor in the head, and if you're going to boil it, then the head will add a lot of flavor to the stock, and there's also a lot of meat in the head.
Okay.
But I was going to grill them, so we took the tails off, we deveined them, we split them down the back, and then I made a garlic butter, and then we put them over leña, and so the butter will pick up that smoky flavor, and the garlic just cooks right into it, so it kind of boils in garlic sauce, garlic butter.
Right.
It's a smoky flavor. Oh my goodness, it was good.
Man, that sounds amazing, dude. I want to have some lobster. Can you get lobster over in Santa Clara?
I can, but I don't usually partake in that. Right now, we're in the Pacific side. We're in the, what's it called when you can't fish them out anymore because they're breeding right now.
Ah, okay, all right. So when do they?
We talked about the fish head stew, right? Well, once you eat the meat out of the tail, right? You have the tail, the shell from the tail, and you have the heads left over. You boil those, and you make a lobster bisque. And
lobster bisque, that's delicious.
I made one for Carina one time. Oh my god! Oh, and my in-laws were here, and my father-in-law took a. He's like, I see why Carina married you. I would marry you too.
I would marry you too. Man, that is the ultimate sign of approval right there, man.
The lobster
if
bisque.
Your father-in-law says he's gonna marry you, look at you. Just winning all the hearts.
Winning the hearts and minds of everyone, kind of like the rapscallions. Now,
that's right.
Another good thing to have in Panama, because there are so many good chefs, you can get an excellent lobster thermidor, which is
what's that?
It's like the only way to eat lobster. Not the only way, but it's the tail split, and they take the meat out and they cube it up, and then they put in the oven with cheeses and melt all the cheeses in it. So you're eating. It's bechamel sauce and cheeses, and you eat the lobster with this cheese roasted all over it. So good. That was my grandmother's favorite.
That sounds amazing, dude. I've never had that.
Interesting tidbit is lobsters used to be considered prisoner food.
Why? That's super fancy for prisoners.
Well, back in the day, like when the people first landed on the East Coast of the United States, they would just walk out. They're like cockroaches. They're just everywhere.
No way.
Yeah.
And what happened? Did we just like eat them all so fast that now
our destructive nature, that now that they're in escasez, now that there's not tons of them around, it's like a delicacy.
Word, because if you want to buy, like, if you go to a restaurant and you try to have a lobster, that's like top money right there, man.
Look who came out of the darkness. Matt Dreckman chimed in. He's like, I taught you that. I was like, I know, you did. He's the one that taught me how to do the antenna in the poop hole. You didn't do it to me.
Good. But nobody's going to judge you if he did.
Yeah, it's okay if you're into that.
It's okay.
No, all love.
No antenna in the poop hole.
So what else? Pulpo. I love to eat pulpo, but at the same time, kind of breaks my heart because they're so intelligent, those octopus.
I know, man. They're super smart, and here we are, just like eating them in our ceviche.
Yeah, they're like all the diving and marine biology. I studied how intelligent octopi are, and they're tasty.
I know, and they're tasty. Could you imagine if octopi were smarter than we were, and they'd be eating us? I mean, if the shoe was on the other foot, I'm sure they wouldn't hesitate.
I think John Travolta made a movie about that, didn't he? Battlefield.
Really? What?
Didn't you see that awful movie?
No, John Travolta.
He made a Scientology movie where the aliens are hurting the humans as like cattle.
Was that Mars Attacks?
No, it was Battlefield Earth.
Was that the one with?
Forrest
Whitaker, I don't know.
John Travolta. Anyway,
John Travolta. I don't remember, man.
About. That movie is definitely not worth talking about.
I don't remember. Hey, there's one thing that we didn't talk about, which is made from plantains as well, which is very popular in Panama, and that is the plátano en tentación.
Ooh.
Yes, which of course has to be made with a mature plantain. So it can't be green. I think it has to be brown already. It has to be brown.
It's got to be black like your heart, It's got to be like
black like my heart.
What tajadas too. Tajadas. We didn't talk about tajadas.
We didn't. There's just so much food, man. There's just so much food.
You know what I did?
But I love me.
Instead of, have you ever had an apple crisp pie?
No.
No. Well, that's popular in countries with apples. So I took that recipe, but I made a plátano en tentación crisp.
Ooh.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. How was that? Was that like a crumble, like an apple crumble?
Exactly. It's like an apple crumble, but I took out the apples and then I put the flavorings that you get when you make the plátano en tentación.
Right.
And then you put the oats and stuff on top to make it crispy.
Right.
Very good. Very delicious.
That sounds really cool, man. I think you're gonna have to write a book with all these recipes, dog.
Oh,
just letting people know what's up, man.
We got to do it.
For sure.
We got,
from the looks of it. Huh?
Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying, I think people have agreed with us on the no raisins in the tamales because nobody has said otherwise.
Oh, good. We don't have any interlopers amongst us.
Can
I
go
to
my
cornucopia before we go on to desserts?
Do it. Because I actually have somebody wrote in, ask with the answer to the cornucopia. So let me tell you. Can I tell you what this person wrote in?
Yeah.
So this person.
Who is it? Who it is?
Nikki Walsh. Nicole Walsh.
Of course.
She said, here we go. Ñame, yuca, jengibre, cúrcuma, mango, cilantro, saril, pepitas de marañón, limón mandarina, tamarindo, en su cascarón, maní, almendras, ají chumbo maduro, y verde. And then she said, oops, not almendras, it's cacao beans.
You're about 95% right. So.
Oh, snap.
We got a coco. It's a coconut. Now, the difference, like when you think of coconut flesh, this is what it is. And then when you have agua de pipo, it's the younger version of this. And that pipo water solidifies into the meat. Then we got the yuca. We saw that before.
Mm-hmm.
And she was correct. We have ginger.
Ooh, nice.
Curcuma or turmeric?
Turmeric. Curcuma is turmeric.
Yes. And I made, you know what I did the other day is I made my own curry. We thought I didn't use a powder. I used turmeric, ginger, garlic, star anise, sticks of cinnamon. Came out super delicious.
Nice, dude.
Now this was a very nice surprise because we're in January and we're not supposed to have mangoes. And one of my trees, has 6 mangoes on it.
That's amazing, dude. That must be a sign.
It is a sign. Sheep poop works. I just added this at the end. This is aloe, grows everywhere. And of course, it wasn't cilantro. It's culantro. And look, it's so hot here that it's wilted. From the beginning of the show till now, it's wilted. That's how hot it is. Of course, we've got the Ahi Chumbos, and these are both the same. But I picked this one early just to show you, to represent the size that you usually get of key limes when you buy them in the States. These are the same, from the same plant, but this one was left on to ripen. Some people have problems with pests. That's why they don't leave them this long. These are cashew. They come from a cashew fruit or the marañón. So you would roast this, and then you have a cashew inside.
Hey, your marañón tree, do you get like loads of marañón from it?
There's actually been a blight for the past 2 years.
Really?
A lot of people told me to cut my trees down, but I didn't do it. We did. I collected urine and dumped the urine on there, and it worked. They're alive and they're giving a fruit.
Nice.
This is tamarindo. So inside here is the paste that you get. Very interesting. This takes a very long time to fruit. They say when you plant a tamarindo tree, you plant it for your grandchildren.
Wow, that's crazy.
And then we have the coffee beans. That was correct. I don't know how I'm going to show this one, but anyway, coffee beans grow very well in Panama. Some, geisha is the most popular bean right now. Goes for thousands per pound, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Hey, those beans, because normally you would expect coffee to grow in more sort of like in colder climates, but yours, it's growing really well for you in Santa Clara, isn't it?
Yeah, mine aren't producing fruit yet, but they'll grow in warmer climate, but they won't have the altura, the highland coffee is supposed to be the best, but they'll grow in warmer weathers. We have them in the shade.
Right.
Cacao. So inside here's the chocolate bean,
Nice, man.
and then we have the raspadura. Now this one is gonna mess people up. This is a flower.
That looks like a thistle, man. If you ask me what it is, I think it's a thistle.
It's amazing. Look, isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Very cool.
This is a rose apple flower, a rose apple bud. So in Spanish, that would be Barañón Curazao. We used to eat rose apples a lot in the canal zone. There's plenty of rose apple trees in the canal zone. All right,
That's crazy,
that's
man.
the end of the tour.
That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, let's take a quick trip through dessert, man. Just kind of like an overview. Talk about all the delicious desserty things that we can eat here in Panama, man. First off, I'm gonna start with a very simple dessert. What is that? Is that culantro?
This is actually lemongrass.
Oh snap!
It smells.
What does it smell like?
It smells like lemon. Like
No way.
when you get that Thai soup, and it has that leaf in it.
Yeah.
It has like a citrusy. That's this. We make a tea out of this. Delicious. You can put this in soups. Gives it a very nice hint of lemon.
I like it, man. Sounds good. HB, I'm going to tell you now about one dessert that's very easy to make in Panama. I think as a child, I would eat this all the time around my house growing up in Chiriquí. And this dessert is a duro. D-U-R-O, duro. You must have had a duro at some point.
Elementary school.
It's crazy, man. It's so simple, yet everyone's like, oh, we sell duros. And you're like, wow, they sell duros. How crazy. It's just like Kool-Aid in a cup.
Yeah. It's crazy.
In a plastic cup. Before Christmas, there's two little kids, my neighbors. They have these two little kids. And they would come over, knocking on my door. And I'm like, hey, what's up? And they're like, we're selling duros. And they would sell me the duro de limón. They would sell it to me for $0.25. Y el duro de tamarindo, they would sell it to me for 50 cents.
Hey, getting that pulp off of tamarindo is not easy, but they sell, like, what you should do, Joe, is if you go to in the supermarkets, they sell like a square plastic package with the tamarindo paste in the middle of it. Oh, this is where Robbie Martin taught us when we're making our simple syrups. I made one out of tamarindo paste. Excellent show. He showed us a lot. But
man, let me tell you something. Duro, that's where it's at. And when you're driving through the interior, you see a lot of places that are like CI duro. Yes, we have duro. Yeah. And it's so funny because it literally translates to hard. So how is that going to be appetizing at all?
Block of ice. But hey, what's the variant of the duro? When you break it down,
does it have fruit inside? Huh?
It has this. It's raspado.
Raspado, yes. Oh man, raspado, dude. I love me some raspado. Let me tell you something. Raspado is expensive. Y antes te daban, dije, la ñapita. When I was in school, I think it was like $0.25 or something.
Yeah. Now it's like $1.25 and 25 more cents if you want milk on it.
I know, man. It's ridiculous. When I was a kid, so in the U.S. they have shaved ice, right? And I remember growing up in Miami, I would miss having a raspado so much because the flavors, you had el rosado, that flavor, that red flavor, which I don't know what flavor that was, but the shaved ice in the U.S. was never the same. And I remember being at home trying to make raspado just because I missed it so much. I would take ice, put it in a plastic bag, smash it with a hammer, put it in a cup, and then put like condensed milk on it, and be like.
So you got your aggressions out though.
Yeah, that's how I got my aggressions out. But I could never recreate the rosado, or that flavor, man.
We had a Snoopy snow cone machine.
Man, that's cool. See, I should have had one of those, but I had a hammer.
A few years ago, we had one of those Christmas gift exchange. And you know what I put in? I put in the raspado machine.
Man, that's amazing. You can buy that, right?
Yeah.
But you just have to get the block of ice. Can you get giant blocks of ice in the city?
Oh yeah.
Man, I should get that. Leave it on the balcony.
For your next birthday, we'll have a little raspado station.
Man, I would love that. And we could put some seco in our raspao.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That would be amazing.
I like what you're thinking, man. As a kid up here in Santa Clara, my uncle, he had the little machine, and we would get blocks of ice. So we're kids running around, and when it gets hot like it was today, we make the raspado. We had our block of ice. We didn't have that used carpet that, that most raspado guys have. You know, the carpet with the sand in it. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Too close.
You know, there was a place in El Dorado, I think, in the early 2000s that they were like trying to be like a fancy raspao place. I don't know if you ever went there, but that place, they would serve you raspao in like a proper cup, and you'd have like one of those straw spoons, you know, the spoons that are also straws, and then you could have your sauce, and then they would put the malt, la malteada.
Yeah.
It's like super fan, and these were like $3, $4 raspaos, man. I was like,
well, I missed the boat. In Costco, they have the paleta, the fancy paleta place.
Yeah.
There's always a line out the door. I can't believe it.
Man, I'm telling you, so many ideas. It seemed so simple at the time. I'm telling you, we got to jump on the doodle thing and make it happen. Like, we just need to find a special way to make these doodles, like, be fancy doodles. Maybe we can make them like, I don't know, man. Arronahuelo duro. 7 años. Un duro de 7 años.
12 años duro.
12 años duro.
We can put regular rum in it and then leave it in the freezer for 12 years.
Yes. And be like, here you go, $50.
Yeah.
Totally worth it.
For 1 ounce.
I think that's a great business idea.
Oh, you know, you took a sneak peek at our list. What about maracuya? You like maracuya? Oh, it looks like we got a little internet bounce going on. Until maybe if you guys can still hear me, I'll keep talking. Maracuya. And Dreckman, I don't know if you're still listening, but maracuya equals passion fruit. Passion fruit equals maracuya.
Back.
There you are. You're back. So I mentioned maracuya.
Yes.
Or as it's known as passion fruit.
Passion fruit.
So there was a famous commercial here in Panama. It's like, passion fruit es maracuya.
See, that's right, because I think people were confused. Was it for like seco or something? Like seco.
Passion fruit.
Seco passion fruit. And people were like, what?
Passion fruit, ¿eso qué es?
¿Qué es esa vaina?
It's maracuya. I love maracuya. Maracuya. It's growing very strong, but it still hasn't fruited yet. So soon we'll have that. I love chicha and maracuya. It's one of my favorites. I remember after playing a football game or a soccer game, I would chug one of those cartons of maracuya. It's so quenching. Like you're super thirsty. You've been playing soccer really hard. I would chug the whole thing, and that's how I quenched my thirst, passion.
Your passion. You know, it's funny because I think Reba Smith now they've started selling like these jugs of different types of juices. So they've had their saril juice, which has been going on for a while. But last time I went, and they were like chicha de tamarindo, chicha de melón, chicha de avena, like all of these chichas that you would find at like in una fonda or someplace like that. Now you can purchase them in plastic containers.
I hope they're not like super sweet because I have to make my own because sometimes they're just so sweet. My goodness.
No, the tamarindo one, we have it here, and it's not that sweet at all.
You don't have to add sugar to tamarindo.
No, it's pretty to the point, I think. My friend, we have 2 minutes, dude. 2 minutes.
Well, what's your favorite postre in Panama?
Tres leches.
Es leches.
Oh, I
Nice.
love those leches, dude.
I would have to say flan. Flan is
Oh
just
my
custom.
god, flan, dude! And you know who makes an amazing flan? Hillary Hughes from the baking
that's
place.
She makes a maracuya cheesecake, passion fruit cheesecake with the seeds on top. It's
Mm.
amazing.
Man, we should have had her on for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We should have had her on for these last 15 minutes to talk about desserts.
We should have that. Next right there.
Oh,
I mean,
well.
I want to cover the what else? We have limonada con raspadura. There's tres leches. There's suspiros, which
Oh man,
which are egg white puffs.
egg white puffs. Yeah, and no, I think aren't those what are these things called, dude? Menjerje? I'm forgetting the name. Merengue.
Yeah.
See.
Oh, cocada.
Cocada, dude. Oh my god, huevitos de leche.
My favorite is cocada. That's like something like this with raspadura or miel de caña with shaved coconut meat. That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
Shaved coconut meat. Man, no, huevitos de leche, I think I really like getting those in the interior. Manjar blanco, man. You can't go wrong with manjar blanco either.
How about sopa borracha? That comes out at Christmas time.
Oh, true that, man. True that.
My neighbor made some. She saved me. It's got the prune, soak up all the booze. We didn't talk about colonense food, plantain tarts.
Plantain tarts, man.
So a plantain tart, that's definitely Caribbean in flavor. That's a plantain empanada with a sweet jelly in the middle.
Delicious.
Bun is very popular in Colon. Yeah. That's a spice bread or a fruit bread. And when you eat that with a big chunk of cheese on it. Delicious.
Yeah.
Patty. A patty is like a Jamaican meat patty, which is essentially an empanada. What else? Arroz con leche.
Now I want plantain tarts, dude.
Arroz con piña is good.
Arroz con piña is very good, yeah. Man, now I want a plantain tart. Bocado de la reina.
I don't know what that is.
I think it's like a tres leches. The last time I had one, it was very similar to a tres leches. Again, I could be wrong, but I don't know. I think the last time I had one, it was like a tres leches.
You know what that is?
Is it like a tres leches?
It is, but it's like a moist cake.
Yeah. Man, you can't go wrong with moist cake. And speaking of cake, queque, which is just a cake.
Queque is cake. Passion fruit es maracuya.
Maracuya. Mama llena, dude. We can't forget. Mama llena. Yes. Oh, man. Which is basically just like bread pudding. Yeah. Bread pudding.
Yeah. Bread pudding. What are we forgetting?
That's crazy. I want to go to the interior and go to like a bakery. That's what I want to do.
A bakery?
A bakery.
So you break dance in there?
That's right.
What is mesabe? It's just pie.
Pesada de Nance. I can't remember the last time I had one, but that's very popular. My mom loves it. I can't remember the last time I had pesada de Nance.
I like chicha de Nance. Pesada, no sé. I did have I'm not a big fan of the cashew fruit or the marañón. The odor is very, very pungent for me. But I started eating. It's very astringent. And then I told a friend that I didn't like marañón. She's like, I'm gonna make you a cake with the cashew fruit, with the marañón fruit in it.
Yeah.
Man, that was really good. Really
Word.
Good. Yeah.
When I was a kid, my grandma, she had árbol de marañón in her backyard, and she would always make like jam de marañón, and I remember just eating that all the time because there were moments where we had so much of it. So like putting it on crackers, it was amazing, man. Oh, wow.
You can get like a nice mango chutney. That's very good.
Truth. Man, you should add some ahi chumbo to that. Spice it up.
Mango salad.
Truth.
Mango salad is sliced green mango with vinegar and hot sauce, salt and pepper.
Truth. My friend, we are 3 minutes past wrap-up time.
Well, let's
So we
wrap
gotta
this thing.
wrap it up.
This, I think, by far has been the most delicious episode ever. Now, we're always spitting out delicious rhymes, but this, its entirety of its contents was delicious.
It was. It was. I'm very thankful that we had the opportunity to revisit all of these delicious foods, which I plan to eat the moment they open the country again, and I could go to the interior of the country and go to the bakery.
Go to the bakery. I'm gonna get some cocada. I'm dying for cocada. I'm gonna make it.
You
Maybe
should
I'll
make.
make a video out of it.
Yeah, dude. I'm sure people would love to see that.
Well, let's wrap it up, Joe. I want to thank everyone here for joining us for our Cuisine of Panama. It's chow time. Joe, can you give us some uplifting words about the melting pot?
For sure. Hey, Panama is a melting pot, a smorgasbord of delicious flavors and people working together to achieve success. And it's summertime now. As you can see, the sun is shining. And soon that cool summer breeze will be sweeping through, and we'll all just be feeling all that bit more relieved because of everything we've accomplished over the past year. So keep your minds focused and think about all these delicious things that you're going to eat the moment all these bakeries start to open again.
Beautiful, beautiful words. I love it. Everyone coming together, the melting pot. We've taken a little bit from each culture and made a delicious, delicious meal out of it. Thank
That's
you,
right.
everyone, for joining us every Sunday, 3 p.m. The song that you heard on the intro and that you're going to hear now is Panama City by Shorty and Slim, written by who?
The Rapscallions.
So if you want some Rapscallions tunes, if you want some Shorty and Slim, go to sasspanama.bandcamp.com. Also, littlebrowndog.aviation.com. They've got the merch. They're a sponsor of ours. And soon they're going to have some Rapscallions paraphernalia, shirts, sweaters, teacups, hats.
Teacups.
Yeah.
Whoa. I want some
Everything,
teacups.
anything you want.
They go with like my pinky.
So, you know what? Always thankful to you, my friend. Thank you so much for doing this with me every Sunday.
Thank you, brother.
And thank you all out there. 3 p.m. every Sunday. Stay tuned, like, share, and we'll be posting recipes and whatnot because of this week. You're all going to get hungry. All right, my friend. We're out.
Peace.
Panama City, Panama City. Welcome to Panama, bella ciudad. Ay, mi Panama. Bienvenidos a Panama. 15 August 1519, the beginning of a dream. It is important to know this date because it's the day that we celebrate. Pedro Arias Davila received from the King of España official doctrine for the fealty to be named Panama City, Panama City, Panama City. Welcome to Panama, bella ciudad, bella mi Panama. Bienvenidos a Panama, a fishing village it was formerly, right upon the coast of the sea. Cathedral tower built up toward the sky, you can hear that bell toll far and wide. At this time within the nation, there was a very small population, only 100 people or so. First European settlement on Pacific Coast, Panama City, Panama City. Welcome to Panama, bella ciudad, ay mi Panama. Bienvenidos a Panama. The Camino Real, it paved the way, and in this isthmus it had to stay all the way to Nombre de Dios. If you go now, you can hear them ghosts. Whoa! Riches came up out of Peru. Many ship and the pirates knew all the pearls, silver and gold. Panama City was Pacific stronghold. Then they crossed Panama by mule. Tropical diseases was very cruel. Finally arrived to Atlantic coast, departing for Spain from Nombre de Dios. Panama City, Panama City. Welcome to Panama, bella ciudad, ay mi Panama. important you know this date, because it's the day that we celebrate. 15 August 1519, the beginning of a dream. It is important to know this date, because it's the day that we celebrate. Panama City, Panama City.